kind of do this one. This is a great question. So never talked about this before. So thank you, Sung Ye, Naomi Nordquist, who says, is island fever a real thing in Hawaii? I love that question. Thank you, because so many people talk about that. We're going to go around. I'm going to start this one because this is one of my favorites. So for me, never. I've never. In fact, I have reverse island fever. I don't want to leave the island. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to go to the mainland. I don't want to take any trips. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay. I want to stay in Hawaii. I don't want to go anywhere at all. So that's the thing. But there are some people who get it. There are some people who catch it. They have to, quote, get off the rock. In fact, my wife every so often has to get off the rock. So I think it's a very personal thing. But for me, I have reverse island fever. It doesn't happen to me. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think. Why don't we kind of go clockwise this time? Dylan, island fever. Is it a thing in your family? What do you tell? I'm sure you get asked this, Dylan. So what do you tell people about island fever?
I don't. I think it kind of depends on. That's more probably driven by like if you miss your family or you miss something specific from somewhere. I can tell you in my adult life, I went this past 12 months, March 2020 to March 2021. I did not leave the island. First time in my adult life. Normally I go to mainland 3 to 6 times a year, between vacation, conferences, military duties, whatever it is. So I travel pretty regularly. So in normal times, it wasn't really a thing because I would travel on pretty regularly, but I went 12 months and didn't even notice it. I mean, it was totally cool. Like, so I think that was like the first test, really, if I look back. And I do like going to Vegas, and I do like, going on a traveling and getting some different types of food and stuff. But I was totally fine. I mean, and my family definitely not. My wife, she doesn't even care if she leaves the house. So she doesn't even need to go. Now that Costco does Instacart, we just have like the Costco delivered to our front doorstep, and we don't ever have to leave. So it's awesome.
Costco delivery? What?
Instacart.
Wait. Instacart. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
the guy goes shopping for you, and it's a little bit more expensive, but I mean, to save the drive and the crowd, and
it's the time.
Totally.
Save the time.
Yep.
I got to try that. I saw that. I haven't tried it. Well, hey, gang, the results are coming in. So, Jean says, no fever. And when I leave, I can't wait to return to have the smell. Yeah, that smell when you get off the plane, right, Jean? You get off the plane, you get off that plane, and that warm weather, that warm, moist air comes into that dry, cold aircraft, right? Warm, moist air, and you smell the plumerias. I never forget that, right? That's the aroma of the island. Joyce also says, hey, I have reverse island fever. Supposed to go to the mainland in August, but really freaking out. It's not about COVID. It's about my comfort zone. Right, Joyce? It's like, I don't want to leave. Mark has mainland fever. He doesn't have island fever. He's got to get off the mainland, right, Mark? That's such a great point. Mark, really quick question to your really quick answer. Which island has the best sandy bottom surfing? Okay. Period. End of story. Oahu is the surfing capital of the planet. Period. Let's just stop right there. It's an easy answer. All right. So we're still talking about the island fever, the thing. Scott, what's your response to island fever? Is it a thing?
Yeah. So when I moved here in '99, I didn't leave the islands for 6 years. My trips were between the inner islands because every island is so different that I felt like that was kind of vacation for me. Travel is really important to me. So I usually do 6 to 8 trips a year to go somewhere for, enjoyment and whatnot. But so no, I don't have it. I feel like the people that typically get island fever, like Dylan said, there's some component that's pulling them away, or they come here and they're not outdoors type of people. If you're going to stay inside all day, you can feel very confined and restricted. But I don't get it. In fact, and it's just like JD said, and you said, it's like, man, every time I come back on the plane and I step off and that fresh island air hits you in that warmth, you just feel home. There's something about Hawaii that really you've connected to over the years, and you're never going to get it out of your system. And all my friends that have moved away, and every time they come to visit, they say the exact same thing. Once you step off that plane, you feel it.
There was one time I remember when I stepped off the plane and I'm walking through Honolulu International Airport, which is now Daniel Inouye Airport. But I was walking through the airport, and I could actually feel my muscles relaxing. I actually felt sensed it. My body's muscles were relaxing. I was like, wow, that is amazing. Heidi, what do you tell people? Island fever is a real thing. Do you have it? You have friends who have it. What do you tell people who ask you that question?
No, I don't have it. I've been tested and I'm okay.
Are you negative? Have you tested negative to island fever?
But I think the way to prevent feeling, I mean, island fever is, I think, feeling stir crazy, like you have to get off the island. And if people don't have social connections, or they're not working, or they don't have anything to do, I can understand how you can feel that way. I've never felt that way because I've always been busy doing things. But I think if you come to Hawaii and you're just on vacation and then have nothing else to do and no connection to anyone, I mean, I can see how you might not want to stay. So, I mean, I think it's about having social connections, working or volunteering or having personal interest or something. Because, I mean, after you go to a few luau's and go snorkeling at all the best spots, I mean, are you just going to keep living your life like you're on vacation, or what are you going to do? So,
thank you. Thank you all, Dylan and Scott and Heidi. I think you guys really kind of fleshed. That's what I love about us when we get in these conversations, right? There's all these different perspectives. It's like a big patchwork quilt, and it all kind of comes together and it forms this great idea. And what I'm kind of catching from you folks that I never really thought about earlier was that this island fever, it's not like this sort of psychological thing that you could kind of take a pill for, so to speak, but it's this thing that comes out because you've either got sort of, you're either all cooped up inside because you're not an outdoors person. That was your perspective, Scott, which was great. You're kind of all cooped up inside. Or Dylan, it's like there's nothing there's something that's kind of pulling you away. That's kind of, something on the mainland that's kind of drawing you there. Or Heidi, to your point, it's because you don't have connections, right? You don't have that social web, that social fabric that kind of binds you to this place. And that's a really great insight. So Sung, I would say that's the thing. Island fever is a real thing for those people who have these issues that we kind of talked about. If you're not connected, you're not in the you don't have a social network. You don't have out things to do. You're not busy. You don't have a job or something that's meaningful. That will all contribute. But it's not a geological thing. It's not a locations thing. You don't have unless you're Mark Lowe and you got mainland fever. But aside from mainland fever, you basically it's those elements. And I really hope that this is kind of fleshed out. Jim, are the luau's open?